Welcome to a new Juju live session about personal development in Egyptian dance, one of my favorite subjects and the subject that can really be life-changing and something that has been at the core of my work for more than 20 years. My name is Joana Saahirah and I'm gonna invite you to join me live and share your questions around Egyptian dance and in particular around personal development in Egyptian dance. Is this even a reality? Is this something that we say because it sounds good or because it's trendy? What the hell is going on with personal development and Egyptian dance? In this session, I'm gonna answer some of the most frequent, interesting, and perhaps silly questions around the theme of Egyptian dance and personal development. Let me know if you've been studying Egyptian dance, practicing Egyptian dance for a while, if it has benefited you and your life in some way, shape, or form. Share that information with me, please, in the comments to this live session. And without further ado, I'm going to present myself as it is the protocol and dive into the questions that I have selected for this Juju live session. My name is Joana Saahirah, but that you already know. I am a world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, and author, and I'm also a creator, the only one that I know of our pioneer platforms, Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School, delivering authentic Egyptian dance, personal discovery, and empowerment. My career, my path started in Egypt, where I spent so many years of my life launching my career with my own orchestra and also studying with the master of all masters, Mahmoud Reda. And from there, I traveled the entire world, teaching, performing, lecturing, and sharing the beauty and the magic of Egyptian dance and personal empowerment. I have written and published 2 books and an endless amount of articles, and I am a lover of Egyptian dance, a true lover, as I presume you are. If you're watching this session, you are with me on this club. Oh, okay, we are the lovers of Raqs Sharqi. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into the questions. Does Egyptian dance make me grow as a person? Does Egyptian dance make me grow as a person? I have answered this question in different occasions, in different ways, okay? Because I believe that it all depends with whom you're studying with, and it all depends how deep you want to go into it. So I'm going to answer this question giving you a practical example. At Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School, that's my school, and in my private coaching programs, I always work on the dance and on the personal development sides of the process, okay? So all my students know this. I am not the kind of teacher who will drop a choreography on your lap and wish you good luck. This is not my concept of teaching, and this is not what I believe honors Egyptian dance and honors my students. So although Egyptian dance technique and choreography and musicality and history and culture are part of the curriculum of what I teach, it is also true that I will invite all my students to bring their personal development, their knowledge of themselves, and how they manage themselves, their character, their weaknesses, their strengths, their potential, their identity in their dance and in their life. But, and here's the but, okay? Here's the but. Not all students accept that invitation. So very often, even if you go to study with a teacher who is gonna offer you the space and the tools and the time for you to develop yourself, for you to work on your personal development while you work on the development of your dance, the truth is we are not necessarily ready to grow. As I tell my students, we're all growing older, but we are not all growing up. Not all of us are growing up. And at every stage of the process of learning Egyptian dance, you are invited to develop yourself as a person, but you may accept that invitation or you may decline it. And it's all fine. As a teacher, I find that both possibilities, accepting personal growth or rejecting personal growth, are valid, because I believe we are ready when we are ready. Okay, and there are some personal development exercises that I deliver my students, for instance, that they're ready for, and some that they're not ready for. So it's perfectly fine. I don't take it personally. I don't think it is a failure or a problem when students choose not to grow personally. When they say, Joanna, I'm not ready, this is too much for me, it's too intense, it's too challenging, but I'm going to keep focusing on the dance and eventually I'll come back here when I'm ready. I say, it's okay. It's your rhythm, it's your life, it's your level of maturity, and it's how much you're willing to go for. So my answer to this question, does Egyptian dance make me grow as a person, is absolutely yes. If you study with a teacher who can develop the personal development in you, and if you are ready to go for it. If you decide again and again, yes, I actually want to put myself in the hot spot, and I want to know who I am and bring the best of who I am while I study Egyptian dance through the art of Egyptian dance. This is a personal choice, and the answer is not always yes. Sometimes it's no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet, okay? So we must respect the rhythms and the timings of everybody. At least this is what I believe. Now, another question. Do I get more creative when I join Egyptian dance classes? In principle, I do believe it is impossible to study Egyptian dance and not become more creative. Then again, it depends on how you study, with whom you study, and what kind of exercises you're doing. So let's imagine that all that you do is memorizing dance movements, dance steps, and dance choreographies. And this, I must add, is the majority of students in Egyptian dance. This is how most students of Egyptian dance operate, and this is how most teachers of Egyptian dance operate. They give their students technique, dance movements, dance steps, vocabulary, and they give them choreographies. This is it. Okay? In 99.9% of the time, this is what happens. The question is, if you're only memorizing dance vocabulary, and if you're only memorizing choreographies, and you're not working on your identity, you're not working on your personality, you're not working on your own ideas, you're not working on your own choreographies, your own improvisations, your own imagination, your own sensibility. If there is no space and time created for you to develop your identity in your dance, and all you do is memorizing steps and choreographies, you're going to have a problem, because I don't believe that in that case you will necessarily become more creative. Actually, I don't think you will. Because you will be an expert at following steps, an expert at memorizing choreographies, but you will not develop your own creativity, your own ideas. How do I listen to this music? How do I feel this music? How would I dance this music if I was the one deciding the steps and the movements? How would I choreograph this music if I was the one doing it? Who am I? And where are my ideas? Where is my sensibility? Where is my unique fingerprint? If you're not developing those things, rest assured, creativity will not be an asset. It will not be one of the things that you will enjoy, that you will reap from this tree, okay? So then again, it's crucial that you search for a teacher who will give you the space and the opportunity and the safety to develop your own ideas, to develop your own creative vision, okay? And you don't need to be a professional to do that. I do that with my students from beginner's level, okay? From when they start, right? We don't have to wait until we're professionals or advanced to start creating. This is actually one of the most common mistakes in Egyptian dance, okay? Dancers wait. They think they have to wait until they become advanced in order to exercise their creativity. And this is not true. In fact, I highly advise dancers to start exercising their creativity from the moment they start to learn. Don't wait, because when you wait, it will be too late, okay? When you are not used to creating your dance, to exploring your creativity, chances are when you reach advanced level or professional level, you will not know how to do it. You will be repeating the formulas, the cliches and the structures that you have learned from other people. So please do yourself a favor and start creating right now. Even if you feel you don't know enough, you don't have enough experience, use what you have. I tell this to my students all the time. Use the resources that you have. Joana, I only know 5 movements, or I only know 3 steps. No problem. Create with those 5 movements, create with those 3 steps. Joana, but I'm not good with the music yet. Okay, but you have ears and you have a heart. So listen to the music, feel it, and react to it. Create with it, okay? Don't wait until it is too late. Okay, let me keep an eye here on the comments to see if you're sharing your questions. Guys, once again, please do share your questions, okay? I'm going to keep an eye to see if you need me to answer some specific issue. Another question I have selected. What are the effects or benefits Egyptian dance has on my character, on my personality? I think there are immediate effects independently of the teacher you study with, independently of the level of depth you're going to go into. And there are benefits on your character that only come when you go deep into the craft of Egyptian dance and when you allow yourself the personal development training that eventually comes with Egyptian dance. At least in my method, it does. Okay, so let's go for the immediate effects on your character. What happens when you start studying Egyptian dance? And please let me know if you're watching and if you have witnessed effects on your character after you started studying Egyptian dance. Let me know what those effects are, okay? I want to know of your experience. Feel welcome to share them in the comments to this live session, okay? So some of the immediate effects or benefits that I have personally witnessed in my character and in the character of so many students, thousands of students, literally, that I have taught throughout the years in Egypt, around the world, in festivals, in my online school, in my private coaching. I'm talking about thousands of students, thousands of examples of experiences that I have witnessed, okay? And what usually happens is, first of all, my body image and my self-confidence go up. This is perhaps the most immediate benefit that I see on people's character, okay, is that your character becomes more confident. You become more confident in your own body, in your own mind, in your own heart, in yourself. There is this sense of going back to yourself, this sense of security, of self-esteem, of self-love. I remember that when I started studying Egyptian dance, I was already studying and working as an actress. So can you imagine? I was already putting a lot of myself out there. And I was nonetheless very shy, very insecure. Nobody believes me when I say this, but it's true. And if my friends from high school are out there, and some of them are on my Facebook profile, they will tell you she's right. She was very shy and she was very insecure. Although nobody believes me now, this is true. And one of the immediate things that I witnessed in my character, and that later on I witnessed on the character of my students, is this increase in my self-esteem. There was a light suddenly. There was an assurance. There was like this fire in my character that was not there before. Everybody noticed it, okay? Some of my friends told me, you're full of light, what happened? You know, some of my friends told me, you're different, you're so strong, what the hell happened? I received feedback again and again and again from the people who knew me from before, telling me, you are a different person. What happened? You know, and it all came from this acceptance of my body, my physical body. It all came from a renewed sense of life and a renewed sense of pleasure for life. You know, what Egyptian dance did for my character initially was this awakening to a colorful reality, as if life was in black and white before I started studying Egyptian dance. And once I started it, I saw colors everywhere. So there was this excitement, this passion, this fire, and this self-confidence that started with my physical body, but it didn't stop in my physical body. Because this is the thing in Egyptian dance. You start with the body, the physical dimension, but then as you become accepting of your own body, you become accepting of your own mind and emotions and soul, and you open yourself to full self-acceptance. And this is the first I would say, impossible to avoid benefits that Egyptian dance has on people's character, okay? Another thing that I feel is impossible to escape is sensuality. And I've clarified the concept of sensuality many times because it is one of the elephants in the room within the world of Egyptian dance, and there are many elephants in the room in Egyptian dance, as you may know. Subjects that are taboos, prejudices, subjects that people prefer not to touch, but subjects that are very important to the understanding and the respect for the dance, okay? So sensuality is one of them. And becoming more sensual is, I believe, one of the improvements that Egyptian dance has on your character. But by sensuality, let me clarify until I die. Sensuality is not seduction, okay? Sensuality is pleasure for yourself. It's the ability to feel pleasure by yourself for yourself. Sensuality has no target. Seduction has a target. I am doing this, I am feeling this, I'm expressing this in order to seduce somebody else. Sensuality is a full closed circle. It's pleasure from me to me, okay? So having clarified that, sensuality is an immediate effect that Egyptian dance can have on your character. Something else that I find incredibly important and that is not often mentioned is the mental expansion. So when you start studying Egyptian dance, you're not only studying movements, steps, choreographies, music. You are studying the history, the culture, the mentality behind the dance, okay? Then again, ideally speaking, if you study with a professional teacher, you're going to have contact increasingly with Egyptian culture, with history, with mentality, with values, with religion, with politics, with economics. And all of that new world that you're presented to will expand your mind. We live in a world of global relationships, global contact. I don't know how to call it. An interconnected world. Let's say that it has never been easier for us to have contact with people in Spain or in Egypt or in China or in India. We are seemingly connected through the internet, but we're also very fragmented. People are getting very obsessed with their own opinion. And if others don't agree, if they feel somebody has a different value, a different perspective, a different way of seeing life, they tend, and by they I mean the majority, we tend to fragment ourselves, to separate ourselves between my people and the enemy. Okay, the enemy being someone who doesn't agree with me, someone who doesn't see life the same way I do. This is a phenomenon that we're witnessing nowadays more and more and more. And what I noticed is that while you study Egyptian dance, you study Egyptian culture, and you are confronted with values that are not necessarily your own. You are confronted with a mentality, with a way of moving, a way of feeling, a way of addressing things, a way of creating, a kind of sensibility that are perhaps the opposite of everything that you know. And this shock, this meeting between East and West, our world and the world of Egyptian dance and Egyptian culture, is one of the most interesting and empowering contrasts or conflicts or clashes that you can ever experience, because you are invited to open your mind, you're invited to embrace the one that you cannot understand, the stranger, the foreigner, the exotic, and you are invited to learn from it. Learn from that culture, learn from those values that are not necessarily your values. I remember that when I started to study in Egypt, before I moved to Egypt to begin my career, one of the things that shocked me the most, but also one of the things that fascinated me the most, was the realization that Egyptians lived in a very different way than the way I lived. There were very different human values, very different rituals, routines, habits, way of talking, way of connecting with other people. There was a style of life that was totally foreign to me, and in some cases shocking, okay, unnerving, shocking, revolting. But from that clash, from that friction between my world, my known Western world, and the world of Egyptian life, Egyptian culture, Egyptian mentality, I grew immensely as a person. I became less judgmental. I became less quick to classify people into smart and dumb, good and bad. The frontiers between what I thought was acceptable and unacceptable started to be questioned. I realized there are many ways of going through life, many ways of dancing, many ways of relating to each other, many ways of eating and cooking and singing and breathing and showering and whatever, And I realized that my world had expanded. So another immediate, and I would say inescapable benefit that Egyptian dance can have on your character is the expansion of your mind. Becoming a more open, more compassionate, more civilized, more educated, more tolerant person who is actually able to live in a truly global and united world. Don't we want that? I think we want that more than ever, right? So these are a few of the immediate benefits that Egyptian dance can have on your character. Then there are other benefits that it can have on your character, but then again, it will depend on how deep you will go into the dance and how deep you will want to go into the awareness of yourself, who you are, and the empowerment of yourself. Because then again, this side of Egyptian dance development is optional and it can often be very challenging. Why? Because knowing oneself and empowering oneself is all about looking at yourself in the mirror, seeing the good stuff and the bad stuff, which can be hard, especially if we have a fragile ego. We don't want to see the dark stuff. We want to see only the good qualities. But self-discovery is not only about seeing the good qualities, it's about seeing everything that I am as clearly as possible. It's about illuminating the blind spots. It's about illuminating the darkness, illuminating the things that make me insecure, fragile, cruel, unable to create a dance and a life that is interesting, unable to love and being loved. All of those things we usually don't want to see. Okay, and self-discovery is about that. It's about looking at yourself in the mirror honestly, not only the good stuff, the entire stuff, okay? And seeing, what do I have to deal with? What is the material I have to deal with? And what can I do with this in order to empower me and empower the ones around me, right? And here's also the thing, empowerment can be scary because empowerment is responsibility. I've explained this so many times, but it's always difficult to grasp. I noticed that people have a hard time understanding this. It's that when we talk about self-empowerment in Egyptian dance, we're talking about responsibility. It's so much about stopping to embrace the role of the victim and saying, whatever is happening, I have co-created it. Whatever is happening with me, whatever is happening with my behavior, whatever is happening with my dance and with my life, I have a say in it. I am creating it. And if I am creating it, I'm responsible for it. And if I'm responsible for it, I can be responsible for changing it. I have the power to change it. But here's the scary point, is that you have the power, but you also have the responsibility. So when you start studying Egyptian dance and really developing yourself as a person, there will come a time when you realize you cannot play the victim anymore. You cannot say, oh, I'm insecure because my parents did this. Oh, I am not brave because somebody told me this. Oh, I'm not able to be successful here or there. I'm not able to build this or that dream because somebody told me. This is the victimhood mindset that Egyptian dance, authentic Egyptian dance, is gonna kick you out of. Okay? Yes, if you do it right, you will not be allowed to remain in the victim's place anymore. And believe it or not, so many of us will not want to leave the victimhood because victimhood is comfortable. Who doesn't like to lay down, I'm a victim, I'm crying, please pat me on the back? Who doesn't like that? It is easy. It is so much more difficult to say, I am empowered. I have the power over myself, over my dance and over my life, and I can create something different, something better. I have the power because I have the responsibility. If I created this reality so far, I can create a better reality from now on. But in order to do that, I have to jump off the victimhood train and hop into the empowered train. And although this sounds very cute, very dandy, in reality it's not, because it requires maturity, it requires courage, and above all, a lot of work. Work on yourself, okay? So you will have to be able to do that, right? So that side of the benefit that Egyptian dance can have on your character is totally optional, all right? And I'm just mentioning a few. Now, last question I have selected for this session, and I have made this session shorter than our previous Juju live sessions because I want you to be able to digest it more easily. I don't want to overload you with too much information, okay? So one last question, and before I launch that question, let me see what's happening in the comments. And by the way, the question is, can Egyptian dance change my life for real? Can Egyptian dance change my life for real? So before I answer it, I want to say hi to Angela. Angela! Hello! Angela is my Billie Holiday. We met in Chicago in one of my USA tours and I fell in love with her. She's so precious. Angela, I love you. Thank you for being here. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I love you. I love you. Okay, so let's dive into the last question for this session, okay? Can Egyptian dance change my life for real? I love this question. Why? Because sometimes when I speak about personal discovery and empowerment, people think I'm saying it because it's trendy or because I'm making it up, or I don't know. First of all, it's starting to be trendy, but I started it 20 years ago. So other teachers are catching up and going on this boat that I have created 20 years ago. So it is not trendy for me. I've been working on it consistently in very palpable, real ways for more than 20 years, all right? So this is not a marketing motto. This is not something that is trendy, that looks good, that sounds good. This is my reality and the reality of what I do in my work, especially my teaching, yeah, that I've been doing since forever. The only difference is that these days I put a name on it. And these days, because I have a school, Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School, there are specific names for the exercises and the challenges that I've been doing with my students for more than 20 years, okay? It's the only difference, but I have been developing personal development in Egyptian dance for more than 20 years, all right? Not a trend, not fashion, and not because it looks good. Now, can it change my life for real? And my immediate, obvious answer is absolutely it can. And then again, why do I know this? Primarily because it changed me and my life. When people ask me this question, they may presume that I'm talking about my students, and I am, because once I became a teacher, I started observing what happened to my students. And the ones who know me well, students that have been with me for those 20 years or more than 20 years, they know that I keep up with them. In the sense of I have their feedback, I ask how they're doing, I am very aware of their difficulties, I'm aware of what's happening as they are learning. I am not the kind of teacher who will drop content on your lap, wish you good luck and disappear. This is not me, this is not the person that I am, okay? I make it very personal. Everything is very personal for me, okay? So I am in contact with my students. And I know exactly what's going on as they're learning with me because they tell me, because I ask them to tell me. But primarily, when I started developing personal discovery and empowerment in Egyptian dance, I did it because I witnessed it in myself. And this is something that I believe with all my heart. You cannot teach something you have not experienced. Let me repeat that. That's a tweetable. That's a tweetable. You cannot teach something you have not experienced. I don't teach anything I have not experienced. So I have to go through the process first. After I have gone through the process and benefited from it, then I can teach you. Then I can take you through the same process. So Egyptian dance has changed me and my life dramatically. And I'm not only saying in professional terms, right? Because I became a professional Oriental dancer. So obviously it changed my life. I moved to Egypt and then I traveled the entire world. Oh my God, my entire life, adult life at least, is shaped around Egyptian dance. So obviously it has changed my life. But there is a deeper side of this change, which is how it changed me, the person. Not only my life, but how it changed me. The way I relate with myself, the way I relate with other people, the way I see life, the way I see myself as a co-creator, the way I see myself as a creative being, the way I see myself as someone who is in constant evolution, in constant questioning, in constant wonder, as if life was this amazing adventure that I'm always eager and curious to discover, okay? So the benefit, or the greatest benefit of Egyptian dance and the way it has changed me and my life is something that I speak of from personal experience, okay? So my answer to that last question is absolutely, it can change your life. Then again, if you accept the challenge, if you say yes to that growth, if you accept that growing older is happening, but growing up is an option that you can take, if you accept that, if you integrate that we're here as students of life, we're continuously growing, we are not finished products, we are not rocks, we are not frozen beings, we are not crystals, we are constantly improving, hopefully, okay? And if you have the privilege, the luck, the good sense of studying with a teacher who knows how to take you through the process of change, of personal and life change. And then again, that teacher, whoever he or she may be, I assure you, must have gone through that transformation. If I haven't gone through the transformation, I cannot take you through the transformation. So it's very important to choose the right teacher and to have the right mindset so that you can learn and grow and evolve within your practice of Egyptian dance. I promise you, it is an unforgettable journey and something that can last a lifetime, hopefully. Now, I do hope this short session was inspiring to you. Keep your questions coming on Egyptian dance, on everything related with Egyptian, Oriental and folkloric dance, and also personal development and empowerment. I'm going to invite you to join our newsletter, as I do, Joana Saahirah's World Newsletter, free and fabulous. When you join our newsletter, you gain access to a free ebook I wrote for my students, Welcome to Egyptian Wonderland, and you also get access to our free learning page and loads of news and gifts and offers I only share with my community. So if you want to be a part of it, all you gotta do is subscribe to Joana Saahirah's World Newsletter. You're gonna find the link to do so in the description box below this video in case you're gonna watch the replay at Joana Saahirah's YouTube channel. I welcome you every time I'm gonna go live. New Juju live sessions are gonna come, and until then, I'm gonna send you all my love and my usual warm, very personal kiss. Mwah.